Are you feeling badly about the insurrection, about this unpatriotic, seditious insurrection? We should. But out of bad can come a whole lot of good. And somebody expressed it in a manner I hadn't heard before. And, I want you to listen to that and then let's go ahead and take it on the other side. Check this out.
Anand Giridharadas writes, "This is not the chaos of the beginning of something. This is the chaos of the end of something. It's not the engine of history. It's the revolt against the engine of history. We are living through a revolt against the future. The future will prevail." And joining us now is Anand Giridharadas, MSNBC political analyst and publisher of the Inc. newsletter. Anand, what are the signs that the future will prevail?
Well, the trajectory, this is Martin Luther King's birthday, and he spoke of that arc bending. And the arc is bending, has been bending, has continued to bend. And it's very easy to lose sight of that fundamental through line and that fundamental narrative in American life, given what has happened, right? I mean, last week was Insurrection Week. This week was Impeachment Week. Next week's Inauguration Week. We never got Infrastructure Week. And it's dark. It's very, very dark. But I think if you look at so much of this darkness, it is not the darkness of the beginning of something. This is not a launch party that you're seeing on the other side of the screen. This is a funeral for something. It is a funeral for white supremacy. It is a funeral for a kind of outdated, outmoded male power. It is a mourning for a time in which certain Americans could feel and claim to be the default of an American and not have to share. And what we have witnessed in this era, alongside the depredations of Donald Trump, is another story too, a longer story. This was also this past year that just ended, the year of extraordinary protests on the street for Black Lives Matter that also corresponded with extraordinary shifts in mainstream white opinion about racism. This was also the year gone by in which white people were, in the reading they were doing and what was happening in their workplaces and beyond, grappling with race in ways that were unthinkable 5, 10, 15 years ago. And so I have been trying as a practice, because I'm as despairing as everybody else right now, to remember that what we are witnessing in so many of these dark days is backlash. Backlash. It's not the engine of history. It's a backlash against the engine of history. These people that you're seeing are not the future. They are the barnacles on the future that is going to happen with or without them. And what I try to remember is that what we are actually heading towards, and allow me to get a little patriotic for a moment, but I think this is a patriotism that is factual and justified. What we are trying to do in the United States of America is actually build a kind of country that has not existed in quite this form, perhaps ever in history, which is to build a majority-minority, democratic, multiracial superpower that looks like the world, that is a country made of all the countries. And we're actually getting there. And these people are terrified of a future in which they have to share. But that future, day by day, hour by hour, workplace by workplace, school by school, that future, that looming future, is, I believe, the dominant story of America.
He hits that on the nail, the dominant story of America. And when we think about it, right? These are, I don't know if you saw these people on the mall. Yes, they were living in their own reality. But the one thing you could see out of all of them, how scared they were. So what Donald Trump and his minions did is they filled a void. They filled that scary void that these people are feeling. Unjustly, they are feeling that. There's no reason for them to feel that somehow the country is getting away from them because they don't have that birthright that they never really had, but that someone told them maybe should have been theirs that someone else took. Never there. So I think Anand is absolutely right. But more importantly, we see that door that he sees now. We need to get over this hump. We need to make sure that we neutralize those that are starting this sort of a insurrection, if you will. And once we do that, we can actually get to the people. Like I said, we can get to the people, not to the fringe created by Donald Trump and his minions. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.